Today's video is brought to you by TomTop.com. That's TomTop.com. TomTop has provided us with a DLP Pico projector in the shape of a cube, and you'll see it to the left on your screen. In the center of your screen, you'll see this Bell & Howell slide cube projector. It is a vintage slide projector that has some really unique functionality to it. But the amazing thing is that this tiny little projector here will in fact fit in the palm of your hand, whereas this projector here is so large that the only thing that'll fit in the palm of your hand are the slides that you'll be putting into the machine. We'll show you that here shortly. But first, let's get into the DLP and the features of this little Pico projector and how much fun you can have. So here's a quick unboxing of the unit itself. It comes in this box that just says LED projector and DLP Texas Instruments. So you all know that the DLP Texas Instruments is the same technology you'll see at your local movie theater. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what's inside. Well, we've already seen what's inside, but let's see how it's packaged. So we get the user guide here. It shows a simplified Merco projector. Now, they might have meant micro projector. It's a possibility, but for the sake of this video, we'll just call it the Merco projector. Maybe that's the model, okay? And then here we have the unit that arrives in this nice, soft little bag. So remove it from the bag. And you also get the power cable, all right? But the only thing you don't get is the power source itself. You won't get a power adapter with the unit, just the power cord. So what do you need? You need a power supply, a USB power supply that will provide 2 amps. In this case, I have an ONN power supply, and this is actually made to charge an iPad, so therefore it has the 2 amp specification on it. Some other things that you can use to power the unit are one of these power supplies or battery chargers. So as long as you have a battery charger that has 2 amps, you are good to go. And this one just happens to have that. You'll also need a little tiny micro SD card, as you see here, okay? You can see mine is a SanDisk Ultra Plus. It's a 16 gigabyte micro SD. So this will be the source of the material that you'll play on the unit itself. So how much storage space it has is completely up to you. So again, the projector is not a projector that you can connect a composite video source or HDMI source to. It is a self-contained media player that happens to project. It does have a built-in speaker, although the speaker is just barely enough to let you know that there's sound coming out. So the next thing you'll need is a speaker, an external powered speaker, such as computer speakers or a USB speaker or a Bluetooth speaker, but something that's going to have a 3.5 millimeter plug to connect the audio source. So in that case, you're going to need the 3.5 millimeter plug as well. I'll show you that here shortly. Here are the specs of the unit. It is a Model P1. The image system is DLP. It puts out 30 lumens of brightness. Its native resolution is 640 by 360. It outputs, as we said, a 3.5 millimeter earphone. The lamp life is 20,000 hours. The projection distance is 0.4 to 6 meters. The power consumption is 10 watts max. The picture size is 10 to 90 inches. It offers a LED lamp, a contrast ratio of 700 to 1. The power supply, as we mentioned, is 5 volts and 2 amps. Aspect ratios, it can do both 4:3 as well as 16:9. The operating system, it shows in the manual that I'm reading from here, as multimedia. Resolution supported 1080p. Input TF/USB. The formats it supports are all of these. So I'll let you guys take a screenshot of that if you want to see what your favorite video format is, and whether or not it will play on this unit. Okay, so again, in the manual here, the setup is very easy, and there's a couple. It's got a really cool like menu screen of its own, which is nice. It's nice that it's not actually just a blank screen like the slide projector we saw earlier would have. But it's got a music menu, photo text menu, file management menu, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so I'm really impressed with the unit so far, and I think it's a lot of fun. I could imagine taking something like this camping and having a little movie theater set up in my tent, or using it for a sales presentation just between you and you know, somebody else, just using this as a way to show some PowerPoint slides or something. So the last thing you're going to need is a screen. So I've got a small screen. It's probably a 50-inch. So let's take a close-up look at the projector before we actually get it hooked up here. So what do we have as far as controls? Well, you have one control here, and that is your focus control. You'll see it right there. You'll see your 5-volt 2-amp input right there for a micro USB, your headphone jack there, and your micro SD connector there. Turn it around here. It's got some specs on the bottom. Product name, LED Micro Projector. There, it's spelled correctly. Image system DLP, model number P1, made in China. Here's your buttons on the side. You have your power button. You have your arrow button. So you have one arrow to select, you know, icons on the screen as well as your content. An OK button to actually do the selection, and a back button. So get me out of here and go on to the next thing. So taking a look at the front here. Oops, sorry, I've got getting my fingerprints all over the thing. That looks a little bit better, I guess. So there we are, DLP projector. Like, whoa, like super close up, dude. So we got some vents on the front there. Top of the unit there, bottom, back side, right side, etc. My only issue with it so far is that I wish that this button set here was on the top, because you're selecting from the side to do your navigation through your menus, and it would be better if it was right here on top so that you could keep the projector stable and secure on the table and be able to select the items that you need right there on the top. Okay, so if I have anything to complain about, that would be it. The first step in our setup process is to put in our little micro SD card, and I'm going to plug it in right there. And some of you have seen on my channel recently that I did a review of a drone that records in 1080p. And I've put some of my drone footage on here, and the unit actually plays it. We'll also see some slides, some JPEGs, as well as some music files. And before we go any further, there is a link to purchase this product in the description of this video. I've got my power source connected to the wall socket, and I've got a different cable than the one it came with. I'm actually using my iPad charger cable, and I have it plugged in right there. So to turn it on, I'm just going to hold this power button down on the side, and the unit is going to come on. Okay, so you can see, there we are. We've got some light coming out of the front. And the first thing we're going to see is the menu screen that comes up. And there's the menu screen right there. So let me reorient the camera a bit here so you can see what I'm doing here on the screen. You can see my little portable 80-inch or so projector screen that's sitting over, probably more like 60 inches. But anyway, let's go ahead and get close up. Let's go through some of the menu functions here. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier was that I don't like the fact that the buttons are on the side. So what I did is I went down here into Settings, and I noticed that there is a screen rotation button in there, or a feature I should say. Now if I go into that screen rotation, these are the options I get. So I get a mirror image, I get an upside down image, and I get a mirrored and upside down image, and it comes back to this screen. So again, I wish there was one that would let me rotate it, because if I could just rotate it once like that, then I would be able to set this unit down with the controls on the top. But that is the least of my worries at this point. So we have a brightness control there, which is kind of cool. So I went in and changed, whoops, did the wrong thing. I went in and changed the brightness setting just before I started to video the second time. So there's high, there's middle, and then there's low. Okay, so when I had first started the video out, it was on low. So let's leave it on high. And then we've got a product info section here showing you the version, I guess, of the firmware and what the total amount of free and used space are. Total space and free space. Okay. And I'm just going to hit OK and get out of there. And then there's a factory default setting there as well. All right, so I can get out of this, and of course the language was the other feature on the top that you saw up there. So I'm hitting the back button here, and again you can see that there's music, movie, photo, ebook, explorer, and setting. Setting was where we just were. By hitting this little triangular button on the side, it allows me to go through and select the different ones. So let's just look real quick at what the music section looks like. So I have a lot of music here that's from the YouTube library, YouTube free library. And let's see, let's fix my focus a little bit there. Looks like it might have a little bit of trouble staying in focus everywhere on the screen at one time. Yeah, just a little bit. That's probably a good middle place. All right, so let's listen to the actual speaker that's built into it and hear the noises that it makes. There is a volume control on the side. The volume control is used while you're playing something. So if you hold down the play button for several seconds, actually it may only, oh there it is, I see it up there now. Shows the volume is at 100. There we go. So now I'm hitting the back button, and that makes the volume go down. And I hit the back button too quickly, and I'm now out of that menu. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is the movie mode. I am a professional. Do not try this at home. All right, so I've got my two videos in there. I've got my Hubson video that I made on my drone, and I've got an M4V video of what is Wii. It's a demonstration of the original Wii console. And let's see, in my photo section, I'll demonstrate those the music and the video here momentarily. But first, okay, so these are the slides. So what I did is I made a PowerPoint slide, a PowerPoint presentation for the Special Reports Television Laserdisc video that I made. And I exported all of the slides as JPEGs. So this is how you can play a PowerPoint on here. And I'm going to hit OK on it. So now you're seeing the PowerPoint slides that I used in that video, which I then later transferred into a video editing program and put them all together. So by putting them in here and hitting play, it's just going to fly right through them as a slideshow. So have to work out your timing. You might have to insert the same slide 2 or 3 times to kind of get the timing right. There's my please subscribe and share slide. Playback medium, Laserdisc. Okay. Let's get out of that. And let's see, let's look in the ebook section. over here. What does ebook look like? I don't have any ebooks on here, so I guess you can play an ebook. Read your book on your screen. And then the last section that we're going to explore, like I said, I am a professional. Do not try this at home. This is the Explorer, so of course it starts at the root of the directory there in SD. And we get system volume information, royalty-free music, special reports, and the 2 videos that I inserted on there. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and hook up an audio system, and I'll do a demo as best I can. I'll put the camera a little bit closer to the screen so you can see the resolution better. And we'll do well. Let's play that Wii demonstration. Again, you'll be watching this through the Pico Projector. For our demonstration, I'm using my OITTM speaker, and I have the 3.5mm input jack connected to the output on the Pico Projector. I'm going to play this What is Wii video, and I'll set the microphone near the Bluetooth speaker. Now, keep in mind that there are differences in between the scanning of this camera as well as the way DLP works, so you will see some lines and some coloration, but just keep in mind that that is not the projector. It is the differences in between the camera and the projector. All right, so I've got my video queued up here. Let's give it a whirl. And it asks me if I want to continue where I left off. The answer is no. I want to start over.
What is Wii? Wii is about bringing you the best games and entertainment. It's also about making your life more convenient, connecting people with friends and family, and giving you the freedom to express yourself. But most importantly, Wii is about having fun. The Wii menu makes choosing options easy. Choose channels for playing games, checking news or weather forecasts, surfing the internet, and a host of other experiences. You can even download classic games via your broadband connection for the Virtual Console.
Now, the footage from my Hubsan drone does not have audio, so this kind of just gives you a visual demonstration. So this is 1080p video, or just 1080. And you can see it's a little bit on the jerky side as it plays it. Now, it could be because of this file format or some other issue, but this is me flying my drone around the football field at the local high school. And you can see it looks really good. The resolution is very nice, other than these artifact lines that you're seeing in there. Ignore those. But it's a little bit on the jerky side, but it does play it. So that part's pretty cool. And there you have it, guys, the DLP Pico Projector from TomTop.com. Now let's get into the Bell & Howell, which is also a cube projector, but a little bit older. So here it is, the Bell & Howell Slide Cube Projector. You remove this top dust cover, which kind of reminds you of a dust cover on an old turntable or something. And here inside we have another cube. And this cube is a little slide tray cube. So you put your slides into here, into this section, then you slide it over. They drop down, and then the unit picks up the slides, moves it over here to a preview area, and then you hit the advance again, and it shows it actually through the lens here on the front. But before we demonstrate that, let's go ahead and look at the features on it. So if we pull down this door here on the side, you will see that deep inside here are some secret controls. The secret controls are a place to put your your cord. You have off, fan, and lamp. Over here you have a way to get your slides back up into the slide cube. You have a slide advance here with an automated focus control, a forward, and a recall. So forward advances the slides forward, of course. Recall moves it back a slide. So that's that part of it there, at least the controls and stuff. And there's complete instructions on the inside of this panel right here. We have a very, very handy carrying handle here on the front. And of course the lens. And moving around here to the bottom. On the bottom of the unit, you have the place to put the lamp. So your lamp goes in here, and there's a little ground wire stuck to that, and it says to use an ELH lamp only here on the unit. And I have properly placed my ELH lamp inside. Now what's kind of neat, and what I haven't seen on a projector like this before, is that instead of elevating the projector to move the image up like you would on most projectors, you can actually turn this elevate knob here, and by turning this knob, it actually elevates the lens. Isn't that the craziest thing you've ever seen? All right, now let's go ahead and demonstrate the slide, the slide projector in action. Here's a close-up look of that remote control, just in case you were interested. It's the slide advance that's here, and the focus, which uses a motor, and the forward and recall buttons there. So I've removed this remote control from the unit itself, and I can have it out here. So I've got my image out here projected on my screen, just like we did with the Pico from TomTop earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and put about 5 slides into the slide cube, set it into this little area here, and then push it forward so that it advances, and it's going to drop the slides down in there. Now I've probably put them incorrectly in, but we'll find that out here shortly. So I'm going to advance it over here, and in this area here I'm allowed to preview my slide as my camera adjusts to the lighting. And yep, I did put them in wrong, so what I can do is I can take the slide out, and I can insert it back into the unit here. Okay, and let's take a close-up look at that. And actually I did put that again upside down. So there's a little button over here on the side that I can hit, flip it out, stick it back in. Okay, and I can go ahead and advance, and when I do, I'm going to move my slide projector around here. Oh, looky there, we're out of focus. Alright, so let's fix the focus with the lens here. There we go. And the camera has adjusted. And now I'm looking at my slide. Although whoever the photographer was on this particular image, they didn't do a really good job of focusing. Okay, there we are. So now we're looking at like some boats on a water, or some water stuff. Alright, so I've gone back down here to my slide, and I've got this one in upside down. Alright, so this is a slide from Star Wars. You could buy a Star Wars action figure, and it would have a picture of that character on a slide, and it's a real slide. So you can put it in your slide projector and watch it on a screen. Alright, so now that I've got that oriented correctly, I'm going to go ahead and advance. Uh-oh, something happened. There it goes. Alright. So there is Luke Skywalker there, and I'll adjust the focus, or see if I can adjust the focus. There we go. So there is Luke Skywalker here on my screen. Isn't that just the coolest thing you've ever seen? Alright, well, I think I said that earlier. There was other cool things. So I can move my elevate button. So there we go, moving it up, moving it down, put it down there on the floor if I wanted to. And I could put it way up on the ceiling if I wanted to as well. Alright, so there we go. That's a nice spot for it there. And let's see. So let's look at this slide cube again. Take this out. And I can push this little slide pusher thingy. So I am down to my last slide here. So I'm going to put it in like that. Okay. And then if I do my advance, oh, I've got another slide in here that's come into place. So this is a cave, vacation cave slide. So you could buy these slides as like souvenirs from a souvenir shop of the place that you visited. And this is Carlsbad Caverns. Go ahead and put that full frame slide in there. It's a plastic slide. Let's see if it'll take it to the next step. It did. All right, so let's see what our cave looks like here on the screen. Oh, and of course the color has faded over the years, so it's all nice and red. Isn't that just spectacular? All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and advance back to the next slide. And there's my last slide here. And I'll do a little bit of focus adjustment. There we go. And there is my vacation slide. So back in the day when old people, and there's probably some old people watching this video now, we would take slides of our vacations, and then we would get the family together after the vacation and put them through the torture of reliving the event one frame at a time on 35mm film. Now, the cool part about it is the resolution was fantastic. It was like 4K, you know, maybe better than 4K. But that is the way we used to do things back in the day. As you're watching your slides, they all come back around and drop into this recessed area. Once all the slides are back in the recessed area, there we go, our last one. Then we go ahead and take our slide cube and set it into this little recessed area for it and slide it forward. Then here on the side we've got this lever that we pull up, and what it does is it pushes all of the slides in a stack back up into the cube. I can pull my cube back this way, and my slides are now safely inside the cube. At that point I can go ahead and label it, and as you can see here, someone did label it but then crossed it out and wrote 95 on there. Now I do have a traditional slide tray I can show you here. So this is the way that people used to, you know, the predominant way to load slides into a slide projector was through a tray, and Kodak had their own system and other companies had theirs as well. And I've used this slide tray with a different projector on my channel. I believe I had a GAF or a GAF slide projector that I used this with. So this is kind of a strange oddball way to do it, but it works. It's actually pretty cool. And that TomTop projector that we saw at the beginning is actually a little bit smaller than this here slide tray. So I found this at Goodwill. As you know, on my channel I find a lot of stuff at thrift stores, and I'd like you to guess how much I paid for this. Go ahead, take a guess. How much did Brad pay for this projector? Well, I paid $3 for it. And the amazing thing about it is it's in mint condition. I mean, just perfect and clean, and the bulb worked, the bulb that came with it, and it's just amazing. So I'm going to show you one more thing inside of this, if I can get it open here, and show you how the interworkings of this projector work, how it moves the slides around on the inside. So if your slides ever become jammed within this system, there's a secret way to get the unit open and get to your slides. All you have to do is push this little lever forward and then lift on the whole entire platform here, and it opens up, and you'll see that this is the little mechanism on the inside that moves your slides around. Okay, and there's a mirror right here that projects it up into the lens to go up onto your screen. Looks like there's a little bit of oil there. Somebody put some oil in there. Wasn't me, I promise. But that's how the system moves around on the inside. And I would assume that these wires here are what goes up into the motorized part of the focus control. So that's pretty neat. And then again, this is the preview edit section here, where you can view the slide before it shows up on the screen, which is again a very unique feature. Well guys, this will conclude this video of old technology meeting new technology. Old cube projector meeting new cube projector. Be sure and purchase your cube projector using the link in the description of this video. And please subscribe to my channel and share this video with a friend, and hit that like button and leave a comment below. We will see you next time with more great vintage technology and new technology.